Our next panel is about to start very shortly. It's a really, really interesting and topical issue. It's about people on the move. And with me, I have a great panelist, and I'm going to hand it over with Soil, our colleague from the UN Population Fund, to introduce the rest of the speakers.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So my name is Soil Toyo Bayara. I am with the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Coordination Advisor on Youth and Demographic Dividend. And I'm here with a great panelists today, Ahmad Ullah from Canadian Rohingya Development Initiative, Rahma Gamil Soliman, Migration Officer from International Organization of Migration, and Thibaut Sheraton from the UN Alliance of Civilizations. So welcome to the panel. Today we are going to discuss and look at the topic of people on the move. As we all know, the human mobility is one of the key features of the 21st century. And adjusting to the world with human mobility within and between countries is going to be essential in achieving inclusive and sustainable development. In 2018, the global community has adopted the Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration, which was a huge step forward and an opportunity for the international community to step up the action for people on the move. Human mobility was also one of the key areas that has been reviewed under the 25-year review of the International Conference on Population and Development, which was discussed here in New York during the Commission on Population and Development. So the ICPD, as we call it, also reaffirmed the rights of people on the move, of migrants, displaced persons, and people living in humanitarian situations. So today we will look into the challenges that people on the move face and what the international community is doing to address their plight. So with such an unprecedented number of people on the move, including 32 million women and girls living in humanitarian conditions, I would like to start the discussion looking into the issue of xenophobia. Ahmed, how do you tackle xenophobia and protect the rights, safety, and freedom of people on the move?
I mean, you know, when we try to fight this kind of xenophobia things in public, you know, Western world, it's very hard to fight it, but you have to look at it in a way. You cannot fight hatred with hatred. You got to show them that, you know, refugees can be anything. As much as anyone can contribute to the society, refugees can also contribute to the society. And we got to look at that way. And we can't change that overnight, but as long as we give the people opportunity in the Western world, then they will realize that slowly, day by day, that, you know, these people are just like us, and they can contribute to this society as much as we can. So I think, yeah, just by taking the opportunity and giving refugees opportunities, that's how we fight it, because by proving it, you know, when, for example, I am one of the proofs that, you know, refugees can be anything, and we show it by just being us and contributing to society, and slowly they will adjust to that.
Thank you. Rahma, from the IOM perspective.
Yes, thank you. Like Ahmed said, we at IOM believe that migration is overwhelmingly positive. It's a historical reality, and it can be beneficial of all if it's done in a safe, orderly, and regular manner. And as you said, like, the Global Compact was adopted, and because of an unprecedented number of people are moving, this unfortunately has generated an anti-migrant sentiment, which prevented migrants from fully achieving their potential. And we at IOM, we try to counter this narrative by working with all the actors to raise awareness on the benefits that migrants bring to host societies and communities. We do a lot of initiatives and a lot of campaigns to highlight the contributions of migrants, the positive contributions that migrants brings into society, including social, economic contributions. We're all migrants, and people move for a variety of reasons, including finding better opportunities. Some of the people, unfortunately, move out of necessity. So what we are trying to do is to try to make migration more of a choice than an actual necessity.
Thank you. Thibault, your perspective.
Yes, thank you so much. So maybe just to follow up on what my colleagues just said, maybe I can just give you one concrete example of the type of work that is done at the UN, specifically to combat xenophobia. And it's actually a program that we have at the UN Alliance of Civilizations in partnership with IOM, International Organization for Migration. I work on it very closely with Rama. And it's the Pluriplus Youth Video Festival, by which every year we invite young people around the world to submit short videos on themes on pressing social issues such as migration, diversity, social inclusion, and the prevention of xenophobia. So we invite them to submit short videos so that they can share their visions of the world with the world, basically. And so as part of this festival, we actually launched a couple years ago a special award for the prevention of xenophobia. So we really invite young people around the world to really think about it and then to kind of explore their views on the subject and then to create media on this.
Thank you. Here at the Youth Forum, we also discuss how this issue is very also relevant to the young people, with recent data showing that about 27 million of young migrants are between ages 15 to 24. And although this data on age structures of migrants is incomplete, from the ICPD review, we also see that migrants tend to be young working age adults with a median age of around 39. So I would like to ask the panel about, what challenges and opportunities the young people face during this, migration and human mobility situation.
For me, what I see, the challenges that are being faced by young people is that, for me, I want to focus specifically on the Rohingyans. So when I meet them, I actually ask them, instead of assuming what they need and how they what kind of challenges they're facing, the current challenges that they have told me about and shared with me they're facing right now is education. These kids, there's more than 300,000 kids in the refugee camp in Bangladesh right now, and these people does not have any form of education, and these people are struggling, and they're begging almost anybody that they meet, please provide us with some sort of education so that someday we could become something, so that we don't feel burdened, so that people don't have to feel that they have to send us donations. And it's a basic human rights. If people are trying to seek education and trying to get some sort of education, I think we should, as humans, we should be able to give them the platform so they can be educated. And also, when I meet these young people, women in the camps especially, they never been outside the house before. These girls were inside the house because what was going on with the Burmese government. I do not want to get too political here, but these girls never been outside, and they don't know what it feels like to be outside the world. And now when you go in the camps, you will see all these little girls who doesn't even know how to live in a normal world are pregnant from the rape, how they've been raped and stuff. These people, they're not married, and these girls don't know how to take care of that. I guess those are one of the main challenges, two main challenges, the education for almost everybody, because everybody needs a formal education, and providing help for those girls who were raped so that they know how to handle the situation. Because if you let them be, because Rohingya people, we are very conservative, like religiously. You know what's going to happen to these girls when they have kids? Nobody wants to marry them, right? So they will be left alone, and those are the two main challenges that I see.
And maybe Ahmad, what does your organization do about it?
So my organization, what we do is we're trying to fight in the world platform, trying to get basics human right for Rohingyans, like trying to get education, because I get phone calls, everybody in the organization gets phone calls and messages day in, day out. And these people are begging us for education, and personally, I was denied education when I was living in those camps myself. And now here we have the opportunity, some of us who made it out from the camps in Canada, we have the opportunity to go to school and able to live a normal life with freedom. But I can't say the same thing for these kids. So that's why we have taken the initiative, 40 youth in Canadian Rohingya Development Initiative. We took the initiative to fight for these people because we were chosen as the voice for Rohingya people. So we want to try as hard as we can to get education rights for the Rohingyans, and also, like earlier I said, we want to try to get some help for those girls who's been pregnant because they are traumatized, and some of them has wounds and some of them has burnt marks all over their body. We want to try to see if we could provide that, because right now, sorry for taking up too much time, what is going on right now, Bangladesh does not want to allow the Rohingyans to have formal education, because formal education means these Rohingyas will be staying in the camps. So they don't want any formal education. So we're trying to fight that and trying to make sure that the government of Bangladesh is allowing the Rohingyans to be getting some sort of education.
Thank you. Rahma, maybe some of the work that IOM does in relation to the challenges of young people facing.
Yes, I agree with Ahmad. Of course, access to education is such an important issue for young people, and everybody should be able to access education, especially young people. When they move, they have aspirations and they have dreams, and a way to realize aspirations and dreams, of course, is to have access to education to be able to realize them. I would say also access to several services can be a challenge for young people, and as Ahmad said, for young women on the move. So because many countries, they have limited capacity to provide these services even to their own citizens. So in some cases and in some countries, it's even a challenge to provide it to migrants or people on the move. So what we try is to, at IOM, we support this. We have several projects around the world to try to help states and governments in order to allow migrants to have access to the various services that they need, so that they can benefit themselves and the whole society.
Thibault.
Thank you. So I think to go back to the challenges of young people, I think a big challenge is the lack of opportunities. And so at the UN Alliance of Civilizations, we try to create opportunities for young people, and especially opportunities for intercultural and interreligious dialogue. Not everybody has a chance to meet people from different cultures, different religions, and so on. And we really try to create these opportunities and platforms for young people to meet people of other cultures and other religions and so on, but also to meet, people with the same dreams and leadership skills and so on, so that young people can be, part of the change and can be, actors of the change. So I invite, young people who are listening to this to visit our website at unaoc.org. We have a number of programs where young people, can just apply to different opportunities. There are great opportunities, and they should really try to take advantage of them.
So just having less than a minute, I just want to offer an opportunity for panelists. If there was one thing that our audience should take away from this panel for action, what would you say, Ahmed?
I want us to take a moment, to realize that refugees are just people like us. These people did not choose to be where they are. They were forced out. They've been put in places that they didn't want to be. They're going through these struggles. It was put up on them. They did not choose it. So I guess if we all take part in it, I think we can all make a difference, because end of the day, we have to remember that whatever is happening there, it could happen here someday. The comfort that you have here, it could be taken away from you in a matter of second. So let's not wait for the things to happen here. Let's try to help them as much as we can.
Thank you. Rahma?
Yes, my only takeaway or advice for young people is to try not to be biased, try not to judge. We're all coming from different backgrounds, and I think we all have our own biases, but I think the best thing to do would be not to assume or impose perceptions before actually getting to know people, including migrants, of course. And even at IOM, we try through several initiatives to counter the false narratives and misperceptions about migrants through narrating their stories. So I would say before judging or before falsely imposing perceptions on people, just listen to them, hear their stories, and try to find where they are coming from.
Thibault?
Yes, so just, I would just say, to young people that we're really, times are difficult now. We're really living in a crazy world, but, if you have a vision and you want to make a change, get out there. Try to find people with the same goals and ideals that you have, and look out there for opportunities. There are plenty of them. The ones I mentioned at UN Alliance of Civilizations, but also many entities at the UN, IOM, and so on. And you can really be a part of the change. So yeah.
Thank you. And just to add to my fellow panelists, I think from UNFPA, we're really seeing the youth leadership and participation in peace building, in humanitarian action. So we really stand ready to capitalize on this force and hopefully move towards an inclusive, equal, and sustainable world. Thank you. Thank you very much for this event.